Hi, I'm Jack Higginbotham. I'm president of PRS Guitars. We are at Experience 2008, and I'm going to take you on a quick factory tour and show you a little bit of what we do inside a PRS guitar on the manufacturing floor. All right, in this room, these guys are basically getting raw material ready to turn into neck blanks. The lumber is brought in here, 14, 16 foot long boards. We dimension it, we cut it roughly to size and bring it into this room, and that's where we start getting neck blanks into rectangular forms. So basically it's a staging area. All right, so drying wood at PRS Guitars is a pretty big deal. We dry the wood, we air dry the wood once we've bought it. We meter it, we measure it. We're constantly in here monitoring and making sure that by the time this stuff hits the shop floor that it is truly dry and truly ready to go. This is the very beginning of the body process. And over in this area, we're joining body backs right now on the large joiner, getting ready to plane that. So we get a piece of maple in. It comes in a block, we join it and plane it, we cut it right down the middle. That's called book matching. When you book match it, you fold it out, you can line up the grain, and that's where a maple top comes from. You join and glue that together, put it on a back, and what you end up with is one of our guitar bodies. All right, this is the first step in our CNC process. Basically, this is our back cut machine. So we'll take that guitar body that's been bandsawed, we'll turn it upside down, load it into the CNC, and run our back program. These are custom 24 trims that we're running through there right now. James is firing the machine up. It'll run through its program. Every one of these guitars is associated with a sales order, so they're all bar-coded. And we know every detail about this thing. We know what inlay it is, what color it is, what scale length it is. All the details are already identified in that. After the backs are all cut, we come over to a second CNC position where we are doing our top cuts. So the body goes in, the carve is done, the neck joint is cut. Anything that is on the top of the guitar is done in this one position. When it goes on the machine, it looks like this. The back's been cut, top hasn't. Comes off the machine, and it looks like this. So absolutely everything is done in one step without having to remove the body. So we're at the body sanding area. So the body comes off the machine, it goes into a sander's hands, and we work it all the way from a rough body to a body ready to glue a neck inside of. You can see the level of attention. We're looking for any kind of scratches, swirl marks, making sure that that piece of wood is as smooth as it can possibly be, and making that thing absolutely flawless. So these guys are very good at what they do, and they do a lot of it. All right, so the neck process is a whole second operation that goes on in our wood shop, and this is very near the beginning of it, not counting the drying of the wood. This operation is cutting part of the perimeter of the neck and also the truss rod slot and the adjustment for the truss rod, as well as the two retainers. We use a double action truss rod in all of our guitars. All right, the next thing that we do with the PRS neck is loading in truss rods and doing a truss rod slot retainer. So as you can see, the truss rods are put in so that they just bottom out on the surface, a very slight curve on the bottom of the truss rod slot. The next step in the process is to put the truss rod slot insert in, which you can see on top of the truss rod here, and also scabbing on the ears on the neck so that the neck's wide enough to get the full PRS headstock shape in there. So this allows us to be a little more frugal with the wood we use and not waste so much material as we're shaping the perimeter of the neck. When we first started making guitars in the old shop, we were using an old Bridgeport mill to cut our fret slots. And so after a while of that, taking about 30, 35 minutes to do each fretboard, we came up with this idea, which is a gang saw. So you take a fretboard or take a neck that has no slots on it, simply put it face down into the fixture, butt it up to the nut, turn the machine on, slide the neck through, and we have saw blades in here that are just placed at the correct depth and the correct spacing for this particular scale length For each different scale length and each model that requires a different scale length, we have a new machine. So we're known quite a bit in the industry for our inlay work. It's a big deal. We enjoy it. It's a way of putting very cool art on your guitar and having it be useful at the same time. So a lot of care goes into the design and also the execution of doing inlay. Very, very tight, extremely tight fit between the shell and the rosewood. Makes for a very nice picture on the fretboard. All right, so the next step in the process is to put the radius on the fretboard. So we use these rounding fixtures, and we do it by hand. We're going back and forth, making sure that we have a constant radius. We're moving the pressure on the neck a little bit, so we're evenly applying that, not getting any dips or valleys inside of the fretboard. Then when we're finished, we're going to check the fretboard, and we're getting scratches out. We're going to check it for radius with a radius gauge and check it for level with a straight edge. All right, so after we've rounded, leveled, gotten this fretboard scratch free, next thing obviously this thing is missing is frets. So the frets are put in the same way we've always done it. We got an arbor press and we got a skilled person who can feel when that bead is hitting the bottom of that the fretboard, and the tang is perfectly seated in there. And we're just doing them individually on an arbor press. Once they're pressed in, we'll run a bead of glue down them, put them in a clamp call, and let it sit for a bit, and that thing is good to go. Just like over at the body sanding, this is where a ton of handwork goes into the PRS guitar, and it's on sanding of a neck. One of the things that we strive for inside of PRS guitars is a very consistent feel to our different neck profiles, so that if you pick up a wide thin, no matter if it was made this year or last year, or if it was made by Joe or if it was made by Bob, the thing feels very consistent to each other. And so these ladies and these gentlemen do a great job of maintaining that consistency and also the quality level that goes into each one of these necks. So the necks are finished now and the bodies are finished now. Each one of those things has a barcode associated with it. Scheduling team here takes that information and puts that body to that neck, and we come together into a neck and body assembled guitar. That body and that neck are glued together. It sits in clamps overnight after the neck angle has been set, and it sits in overnight in clamps. It's unclamped the next morning. Then the entire assembly is sanded. Quality control goes over the whole thing, make sure that everything is exactly to order and at the quality level that we want it to be at. Then scheduling assigns it a new ID number, and it starts off in the finishing process. Another thing that we take a lot of time with at PRS and a lot of effort goes into is the staining of the guitar, trying to bring out the most that we can in a piece of maple or a piece of mahogany, bring that beauty out. We offer a tremendous amount of colors inside of PRS guitars that also lends to a pretty high level of complication. If you look at the different combinations of models to neck shapes to inlay options to color options, there are a lot of different combinations of material that we have to keep straight inside of here. Now we're in the finish department. Inside of our finish department, we have a lot of different processes. There are a lot of different finishes that we have. Whether it's a polyester base coat and a top coat, urethane top coat, or nitrocellulose, our modern eagle finishes, the Grissom finishes. So there's a lot of different things that go on inside of this, but generally speaking, we have the same goal no matter what finish we're putting on it. We're looking for the thinnest, hardest, best sounding, protective finish that we can put on a guitar that will last a lifetime. So when we stained the guitar body, it brought out a lot of the figure and that curl, and it looked a lot better than just a raw piece of wood did. Once we put our first coatings on, like in this 513, you can see that that curl's popping a little bit. It looks a lot better than just the stain did on a guitar body. So every step of the way, what we're doing is we are putting finish on it, but at the same time, we're accentuating the beauty of the wood and the instrument along the way. So after we've put the first coatings on the guitar, again, the next thing we do is sand. We sand an awful lot inside of this place. Most of us started out sanding something in here. Larry Urey, our national sales manager, started out sanding in the finish department where we're standing right now. So the name of the game here is to take a guitar with the polyester base coat in this instance, and make a perfectly level surface and a perfectly flawless surface, and get it ready for the preppers, at which point that we'll be going over that guitar with a fine-tooth comb, making sure that there's no little details we want to touch up before we put our final coating on it. Okay, here we are at the prep area. This is a huge QC point at PRS Guitars. We basically take every guitar before it's top coated and we go over it inch by inch with a microscope, pretty much, looking for any kind of flaws, any kind of little blemish, anything we want to fix before we seal it up with a top coat material. All right, we're post top coat now. We've put our clear on, and you can see what I was talking about earlier. Here's a guitar that has this clear coat on, and that curl is really popping now. So again, we went from stain to a base coat, now to a top coat. We haven't sanded this thing or buffed it yet, so it's going to get more intense as we go on down the line. All right, so after the guitar is finished, it's sanded, it's buffed, we do fret leveling and a fret dressing operation. And basically the trick here is we try to get that neck to feel like it's an old friend. We don't want it to feel sharp, we don't want it to feel uncomfortable, and also make sure everything's leveled and perfect before we send it to setup. So the guitar gets finished at the buffing area, comes over here, quality checkpoint. We make sure that there's absolutely no problem with this guitar. Mike's going to look at it, look it over, make sure everything looks good. When he says it is good, he's going to put a sticker on it and it goes into the bottom rack. Once it goes into the bottom rack, the final assembler can come over and say, what do I feel like building right now? I feel like building that Grissom. And so they'll pull that Grissom out of there, they'll take it, they'll get the appropriate parts. Those parts are made over in this department. Pickup manufacturing is all done over here. We're putting pickups together and getting everything ready to go. All the pots and drop-ins are over on our right. And over here, we've got some very skilled craftspeople that are putting all of the pieces together. And so we'll take a guitar that is ready to go. This is Wayne Johnson. Wayne is going to put this ME2 together from start to finish, make sure that everything is working perfectly on it. He's going to play check it through our test rig. And after that, it goes into a case, out the door, hopefully to a very happy customer. And at the end of that process, we feel like we've had a good day. It's pretty much it for a day in the life of a guitar at PRS.